I remember one time I was giving a class, something like this, in a university in Bombay. Now, I warn you, if you give a class at a university in Bombay, be careful about asking for questions. This particular university was for training people to be certified and chartered accountants. There was about 300 accounting students and teachers in this auditorium. And I gave a lecture. I was standing at a podium, and I asked, "Is there any questions?" One young man in the middle of the big crowd raised his hand, and I called on him, and he stood up. And I understood what I was in for when I saw the crowd's reaction to his standing up. Everyone went, "Ooh." And he really stood up with his head tall. He was a big guy. And I could see that he was really known for being a charismatic leader of this college. He shook his fist at me and said, "Swami, I reject everything that you have said. Whatever you have spoken today is totally useless. In fact, you are misleading everyone. You are cheating us. What if everyone in the world became a Swami like you? Who would grow the food? Who would do the trading and the banking? Who would do the government? Who would raise the children? Therefore, whatever you said is simply misleading, and we reject it." He said it with such force and conviction that all the students in the entire auditorium stood to their feet and gave him a standing ovation. I had to wait about a minute till the uproar calmed down, and then they all looked at me for my response. I hope you all have some sympathy for me by this time. I was thinking, I don't need this, I'm just trying to help. I'm not making any money for this. Anyways, I replied, I said, "What if everyone in the world became an accountant like you? Who would do the farming? Who would rule the governments? Who would do the training? Who would do the banking? In fact, if everyone in the world became an accountant like you, everyone in the entire planet would be unemployed because no one would need an accountant." And I said, there's a need for farmers to grow food, and there's a need for bankers to do their financial duties, and there is a need for governments to rule to make sure everything is in order, and there is a need for mothers and fathers and teachers, and there's a need for accountants, and there's even need for swamis. We all have our functions, we all have our duties to perform. Just like the human body, there are different parts of the body that have their own special features. The hand cannot do what the eyes do. The ears cannot do what the feet do. The brain cannot do what the kidneys do. Every part of the body has its own particular function according to the nature of that part of the body, but they're all working together for the whole body. It's not that the hand is saying, "I'm higher than you, feet. You're lower than me." No, they're working together. So similarly, there's so many different types of occupations, there's so many different types of people. Yoga is to harmonize them all so that we're all serving each other. We all need each other. We're all connected to each other. To love God and to be a compassionate instrument of that love. That higher principle in the yogic school is what harmonizes all of us together. Now, I'm shy to admit this to you, but I got a longer and louder standing ovation than he did. And the best part of it is after I said that, he was still standing up. He went like this and smiled and sat down.